talking about a very interesting topic. Dr. Rima, shall we introduce a guest again? And what we'd like to do is an overview of what we've been discussing.
You
Dr.
know,
Rima?
I'm looking at the statistics, the listeners, and I see that there are some people who were not with us in the first hour who have come on. So I think it would be only fair to them because this is so important. We don't want them to have to play catch up and miss any of the implication for them and their lives and how useful this can be. So, yes, please do a quick overview after you introduce Chad to our listeners.
All right. Well, we'll start with, of course, we've been talking about nano silver. Now we're going to start talking about micro gold. We were talking about your health freedom, and now we're going to talk about your financial freedom. Chad?
May I say
Go ahead.
that what we're talking about is itty bitty metallification.
Indeed, indeed. Chad Lavroe, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your background. Of course, Gary Franchi, our good friend from Restore the Republic and other venues, introduced us and introduced Dr. Rima and me to Karatbars. Tell us, if you will, how you came across these concepts.
Absolutely, I'd love to. Well, as you mentioned, I work with Gary Franchi, and he's been a dear friend of mine for a long time, and we've been causing trouble together for going on 9 years now. And pretty much anything that he's ever brought to me has turned out to be true. Sometimes it was upsetting information. This turned out to be something that was really empowering and really great for my wife and I. And this was gold by the gram. And he said, Chad, I want you to take a look at this. I'm doing this for my family. I think that this is going to be a great thing. And will you jump on board with me? And I said, you know what, sign me up. And it was one of the best decisions I ever made. That's been almost 6 months ago now. And essentially what we've been able to do is create a network of savers, people who are buying gold by the gram, and get them really, really thinking about converting their dollars to something that provides a little more security and a little more independence. And via the tool of Karatbars that we've been using, we've been able to create community as well at the same time, which is really powerful. We've got people becoming their own kind of gold dealer, if you will, starting their own business, and at the same time socking away some wealth. And we've just got this great group of people now that includes yourselves, which is, we're very honored to have you on board. And we've reached, I think I've got about 400 people I work with directly just in my business. And Gary's about, oh wow, I don't even know what he's up to now, but I can tell you it's sizable. And that's just really exciting because we've got people now who have a practical way to conserve their wealth. And it brings an education factor as well. For people that maybe weren't as versed in gold, they're watching it closer now because they've got some. Even guys who were collectors before really like the fact that there's a good, convenient monetary feature to this, where we've got a credit card that will actually borrow against the gold in our vault. So there's just a lot of avenues, and I'm really excited to talk with you guys about it.
Now, you say borrow against the gold in your vault. So let's say I've got the credit card. Let's say I have, just for the sake of discussion, I have $1,000 at today's prices of gold grams. And
Yes.
I want to buy something with my credit card that costs $500.
Yep.
So I go to an ATM or I go to a store and I run my credit card. And you said borrow. Are we removing $500 worth of value because I just spent it? Or are we somehow borrowing it that it gets repaid through?
Good question. You are spending that gold. You're actually not borrowing against it. I used the incorrect word there, but that gold that's in your vault is that easily accessible with a swipe of a card.
That's exciting. And I understand as an affiliate program, the affiliate commissions are also paid through a Euro card. Did I understand that correctly? Is that actually in process of happening? And how does that make the affiliate
Absolutely.
program more?
Everything through Karatbars, it is a German company, and everything gets paid weekly in euros, and that's always kind of exciting because I look at my payment and it looks good, and then I do the conversion on it, it looks really good.
Very good. We've set up a website, folks. We've set up a website at www.naturalsolutionsgold.com. On that website, you'll see Gary Franchi. You'll see our logo. And Gary introduces a video which explains this entire system in detail, so you can review it on that site as well. And then below his stunning image, we see information slots for you to fill in, and then you press the orange button that says I want in, and your information will be sent to us, and we will be able to bring you into the system. There is no minimum monthly purchase required. That's why this is not what you'd call an MLM. This is a real community affiliate program, and it's the sort of thing that we want to bring to our members as actions for members' benefit. And the members, the people who are in communication with us, who choose to be in private association with us, are invited to join us in this Karatbar opportunity. Opportunity to convert some of your dollars into real value, into pieces of gold. Now, there is the gold spot price, and that spot price nobody can really buy gold at, but that spot price is about $1,240 right now. It's mid-October 2014. It's been down a bit from there, though that's
well,
about.
Wait a minute, Ralph.
Yep.
Ralph, it's really important. That $1,240 is an ounce.
Exactly.
And so if somebody says, okay, I want you to buy or do what I do and buy an ounce a week, 1,240, 1,100,
Right.
1,400 a week, most people would say, what exactly have you been smoking?
Right. And that's why we're talking about Karatbars. And actually, as you see on the images, tiny little 1 gram, 2 gram, and 5 gram little bars of gold that are embedded into these credit card size holders that include authentication information and contact information and that sort of thing. And because they're authenticated, they of course can actually be traded, just like baseball cards can be traded. These, of course, have an actual piece of gold in them, and that gold is 1 gram, 1/28 of an ounce. Now, not $1,250, but 1/28 of an ounce. When gold is $1,200, the 1 carat bars are selling for about $60. So when gold is $2,400, presumably the 1 carat bars will be about $120. You can't sell it for what you can buy it for, as we all know. There are premiums on both ends. That's true of any similar transfer of wealth from one form to another, from paper to something real. And that's really what we have here. We have a system that allows people to do that conversion in very small units. Currently, $60 for approximately for a single gram of pure gold in a little bar, stamped, authenticated, and available to be used. And if you choose to hold the gold that you purchased in the vaults in Germany in the company Karatbars, then you can actually transfer that gold using a debit card. And that's exciting, by the way. Chad, you were telling us about that a little earlier. I think that's an interesting, and maybe you can give us a little more details on how that works and why the gold is really in the vault and it's not just a paper transaction.
Absolutely, that's one of the parts of the system that was so interesting to me was the convertibility and the convenience. I do take half of my gold on delivery that I buy, and I buy a pretty good amount now. We've been at this for a while, and I do believe the safest place for any gold is in your pocket. Now that being said, it's not necessarily practical for me to just sock away a bunch of gold. You can do that with any gold dealer out there. So I like the fact that I can buy a portion of my gold, leave it in an extremely secure vault in a fairly solvent country like Germany is, and have access to that just like any bank account here. I could almost foresee the scenario where, just like you guys are kind of under attack with your payment processor and your bank, you can't get the money there. if banks in this country, I'm in the United States, if I couldn't access that money that I needed because of a scare here, I'm still fairly confident that that money in my German account would still be accessible for quite some time. And that really, when you get the convenience with the security all together like that, this program was unlike anything else I had ever seen.
That's exciting. I like that. All right.
Absolutely. There's so many layers to it and levels to it, from the commissions for showing this to people, which is something I would do anyway. I've always thought it was important to have precious metals and to collect. Well, if you had touched on something earlier, where you talked about getting gold coins and silver coins as a kid,
Right.
and
My granddad
my
used to give us gold dollars for our birthday. Nice heavy
yeah,
big silver dollars.
and
Silver
my
dollars.
grandfather was he retired Navy serviceman, and he would always bring back and give me coins from all over the world. I had them growing up, and sadly I lost some over the years, but I still have some. And I like the fact that now with this program we've got the brandable or the customizable cards, where I can start doing that for my children, and you know giving them these gold cards. I mean, you can even put Batman on there to make them excited about it, but to start understanding,
Oh, yeah.
holding that real store of wealth and that value in coins.
Well, Karatbars produces some very interesting little cars with the gold bars in them. By the way, is it fair to say that each gold bar is individually registered, even though they're so
Yes,
tiny? Wow. All right.
absolutely. They all
Tell
come with
us
their
about that.
own serial number.
The serial number is that on the actual bar and on the plastic holder, or is it only on the one?
Well, there's a QR code
Got it.
on the bar that comes with it, and now I can tell you there's a very exciting aspect that it's still in development. It's not finished yet, but they're
Okay.
working on this
That's all right.
at Karatbars International, where we're actually going to be able to make transactions uh, for people who do keep a store of gold in the vault, uh, where you can actually make online transactions using that card, not just as an ATM, but direct gold exchange.
Ah.
So look for that coming soon when you get your payment processing back here. I'm hoping that comes sooner than later, but I know it's in development right now.
Say more about that, Chad. What would that be like?
Well, that would be like each one of these cards is individualized with a number or a QR code, and I don't know what the exact interface is going to be online, but they've stated I'm going to be able to do business from account holder to account holder directly with Karatbars, no middleman. In fact, my wife owns and operates an adults only ballroom dance studio in the town we live in, and we just put our sign on the window that said we accept Karatbars because we're trying to get people used to the idea of using this currency, and Karatbars is working diligently to make that easier.
All right.
Well, now that's fascinating. Kind of like Bitcoin, but actual.
Right.
Exactly.
The commodification of Bitcoin. Interesting.
This is interesting. Can you buy Karatbars in Bitcoin?
Ah,
Whoa.
that's an excellent question.
Well, I'm actually looking at the Karatbars website, and I can see. Let's take a look in euros. Euros. It seems to be doing mostly things in euros. Haha. That's an interesting question. If they don't have that facility, we should be the first to offer it.
Absolutely.
And that brings me to another part of this whole process that's important for our listeners to understand, and that is this is an affiliate program. If you add the link to your website and people join under you after you've joined under us, then you're part of that. You're part of that affiliate community. And as people from our email list join Karatbars under us, they will be placed under the people under us, of course, and therefore they'll be placed. The closer you are to the top, the earlier you come in, the more opportunity you'll have to have people from our lists joining your part and your branch of the community.
You mentioned our mailing list, Ralph. not everybody listening, because I've been checking the statistics and we have a lot of people listening. We have a lot of people, and I'm delighted by that. But not everybody listening probably is on our mailing list. So let me tell you how to get on our mailing list. You go to our principal website, www.Dr. Rima Truth Reports. That's DRRIMA Truth Reports.com. DrRimaTruthReports.com. You scroll down a little bit, and on the right-hand side of the page, you will see a special form. You enter your email information, and you'll get a thank you letter. The thank you letter contains my protocol for the use of nano silver. Oh, does the government love the fact that everybody can have my protocol for the use of nano silver? You can have it as my gift. And you'll get another gift too. That is a free subscription to my e-newsletter, the Health Freedom Action e-reports. And that's a very important asset because it gives you up-to-the-minute news that you surely will not hear on mainstream media, that you surely will not hear from most other people, because we bring unique talents. We bring General Bert's analytic and intelligence background. We bring Ralph's lawyerly background, and we bring my medical background, and you get information that you really can't get anywhere else. So go to www.drrima, R-I-M-A, truthreports.com, and let me give you 2 gifts to help you in your forward progress. So that's very important. But once having done that, lots of good things will come your way. By the way, you do not have to be a subscriber to our newsletter in order to participate in the Karatbars program. You can be whomever and whatever you choose to be. But think about it. Having a gram of gold, anytime you want to access it, having the equivalent of a gram of gold accessible through a credit card, having commissions on the grams of gold that other people buy. And the commissions, I liked this part when I first heard it from Gary and Chad. Okay, so how deep are the commissions? 7 levels down, 2 levels down, 4 levels down? No, forever down. There are no limitations on the levels of commission that you receive. Well, how very cool.
And very good.
Exactly.
I really like that part.
And keeping with our discussion tonight about nano silver and micro gold back and forth over this 2-hour program, half an hour remaining of the program, I noticed that the latest news that just came in is apparently the current White House occupant has just signed another executive order deploying the National Guard to fight Ebola. The militarization of disease. Very interesting. Well,
that is beyond terrifying.
Right.
They militarized, well, they said the National Guard is now deputized in some way to fight Ebola. I know how they're going to do it. I know exactly how they're going to do it. Oh, silly us. We didn't think about it. They're going to give every member of the National Guard a nano rifle, which will have nano silver bullets. And instead of shooting vampires, they're going to take aim at the Ebola particles floating in front of them in droplets and go bam, 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 and then the Ebola virus will have been defeated by America's military might. Why didn't we think of that, Ralph?
Right. I don't know. I don't know why. Well, silver and gold. There's a silver lining behind every crisis, and the silver lining behind the Ebola crisis is that the public health authorities are once again showing their incompetence. For example, the FDA, about 50% of all the drugs that it approves, it eventually either withdraws from the market or strictly limits its use because of the adverse events. In fact, the general public is the final test phase in every pharmaceutical. That same agency is expected to protect us. Oh my! You know what Ron Paul said about FDA? Giving the FDA power is just giving them more power to abuse. And we, of course, are being abused. So that's where we are, folks.
And we are being heavily abused. I have to say, you can tell whether somebody is doing good work by the enemies they have. We have all the right enemies.
Right, exactly. And we have all the right friends. We have friends
We
with
do.
silver
We have,
linings, and we have friends with gold thoughts, with golden thoughts. And we ask our friends with who see the silver linings behind all the situations of the world to make sure they have their nano silver. And we ask our friends who have golden thoughts to go to www.naturalsolutionsgold.com and fill it in. You know, you can
you
join
broke
the net.
up, Ralph. Say that,
Yeah,
Ralph, you broke up again. Say that, say the address again.
www.naturalsolutionsgold.com. You'll go to a special website. You'll be able to, first of all, Gary Franchi introduces a little video about the system, and right down below that is a form to fill out. You give us your information. We'll get you into the system. This is a no monthly minimum system, and that I
I
think is
want to
real
talk.
important.
I want to talk about the upline support. Um, Here's a no-brainer. If I join, you might say, the Karatbars system under Dr. Rima and Ralph and the Natural Solutions Foundation, are they going to have time to answer my questions? Are they going to have time to explain the system to the people that I know that I want to bring in? Partly because I think that they'll do well with it, and partly because I think that they'll help me do well with it. And the answer is absolutely, definitively, totally, unequivocally no. So, I mean, really, do you want us to stop doing what we're doing and fighting the Ebola outbreak and fighting all the health tyrannies that are coming towards us to answer those questions? Well, maybe you do want us to, but when you think about it, it wouldn't be a good choice. So what we've done is something that's even better, and that is we've arranged for Chad and Gary Franchi and their team, and it's a very good team, to be your upline. We'll be the people who sponsor you, or the people who are in your chain, so to speak. But the people who will give you the information, the people you can call and have them help you with the new people that you want to talk to, you have no idea what a gift and a boon and a blessing it is. You can call Gary Franchi. You can call Chad, and you can say, hey, I've got somebody I want to talk to. And now you've introduced them to an extraordinary master of the information in this area, while Ralph and General Bert and I go off and slay the FDA. It's a good deal.
And that's what
Indeed.
we need. We need people to buy their silver right away. Dr. Rima, I bought my 12 bottles, almost a month ago now, as soon as you told me to.
Very good. All right, now you're telling us to buy gold grams, and Chad, we will absolutely do that. This is exciting. We have about 25 minutes in which we can discuss some of these developments.
You know what I'd like to do, Ralph?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to give people the opportunity to call in.
Oh, that would be
If
wonderful.
that's possible, on
Sure.
your phone,
Yeah.
and answer some caller questions.
Sure.
Because this is a unique opportunity. Would you be comfortable doing that?
I have no problem. Before we do that, though, I wanted just to bring up another news item. There are news items popping up all the time. Stunning, it says. Stunning Fed move may put bottom under stocks. Apparently, the president of the Federal Reserve branch in St. Louis, made a statement after the stock market had plunged 450 points at one point yesterday, about how the quantitative easing that was going to be tapered off, maybe the tapering off should be put on hold for a few months. And that was enough to rebound the stock market. So the volatility, the bubble, and it was very interesting to read an article in the past couple of days about the government bubble. There's a government spending bubble going on and government activity bubble going on that's driving all the rest of this. That this bubble may be
No,
about.
a government spending bubble?
Yeah.
Well, who would have thunk?
Yeah, I mean, hey, 7,000 new FDA agents in the past couple of years. Who would have thought? So I think that now's the time to pay attention. That getting involved right now in converting some of your paper dollars into little tiny grams of gold is not at all a bad idea. And let's give you my phone number since I'm broadcasting this over Revolution Radio. And folks, let's again thank our friends at Revolution Radio, www.freedomslips.com, Studio B. We appreciate Revolution Radio and we ask you to go to freedomslips.com and donate. You know, of course, donate Natural Solutions, donate to Revolution Radio, and reward yourself by buying grams of gold and bottles of nano silver. Nano silver, micro gold. You need them both. All right. Let me give you that phone number, folks. 973 300 4594. That's 973 300 4594. I'm in New Jersey. It's on the East Coast of the United States. It's about 11:30 p.m. It's okay to call on a Thursday evening for the show. Dr. Rima is in Santiago de Chile this time of year. It's an hour later there than it is on the East Coast. In a few weeks, it's going to be 2 hours later. But we North and South America do this dance around the time zones that we've learned, that Dr. Rima, General Burt, and I have been experiencing over the past couple of years as we've coordinated Natural Solutions Foundation activities.
It's better this way than it was when I lived in Thailand because we were 12 hours off.
Well, I'm not so sure that was bad because, as you said at the time, we were tag teaming the FDA. This was back in, I guess it was 2007 or 8.
Yeah.
And you know, I was up during the this half of the planet's day, and you were up during that half of the planet's day. We were meeting sort of at dawn and dusk, you know.
Yeah, but I was pretty much up the whole time.
That's true too. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how Dr. Rima does it, folks, but she gets less sleep than any human being I know. So you know, but so Chad, gold and silver, silver and gold. What do you think? What are the questions that people generally ask about the Karatbar system? Maybe you can give us some.
There's quite a few questions that come up because there's a little bit to it. There's a learning curve for the first couple days as you're reading through the material, because it is such a dynamic system. You know, the acquiring gold. Everybody wants to know the price, though, especially. Everybody wants to know if they're getting the best price out there, and that's where you have to explain the way we're denominating it. And these are small quantities. Now there are 1, 2.5, and 5 gram cards, but these are small quantities of gold. And the idea is to make it really functional and really practical. But the one wonderful thing that I always have the ability to answer is when they ask if they're getting the best price, I can say yes, because I don't know any other company that sells a gram of gold at a substantially better price than Karatbars. It's always within a couple dollars. So they're not only are they getting that gram of gold as good as they're going to find it anywhere else, they're getting to participate in a little bit of that income stream via commissions eventually if they decide to do that with the business, and that is extremely powerful. Now, even as you buy greater quantities of gold through Karatbars, because we actually have gold dealers that have signed up for this program. You know, these guys have their big own gold brokerages, and they still like this program because of the accessibility for the average person, of the convenience factor for using it as money for barter, for.
I see. So you'd actually be able to, people would be able to recognize the value in the little card that has the actual gold inset in it. I think that's
Just
really
interrupt me.
interesting.
Say that again.
People would be able to recognize the value because it's an actual piece of gold that actually has a serial number on it, and it's backed up by the reputation of the Karatbars company in Germany. And
Absolutely.
that I think to me is a very important factor. What can you tell us about Karatbars? I was looking at some of the information on their website. It says Karatbars International GmbH specializes in the sale of small 999.9 pure gold bars and gift items. We offer unique product lines, including specialty collector's items that celebrate special moments. So you can get happy birthday versions and various other versions. Now, the company itself, let's take a look at business. I wonder where we find the background of the company. Contact. All right. Very interesting. I'm interested. Oh, the products. That's something we should take a look at too, as we take a look at the website a little bit. This is karatbars.com. Gold bars. All right. Karatbar 1 gram gold. Oh, here it is. All Karatbars 1 gram gold bars are 1. Certified and laminated with UV protective film, stamped with a valid trademark. Each unit includes assayer's signature. A unique hologram adorns the reverse side of the bar, which is intended both as a security feature and for visual appeal. All right, so it's a gift card, among other things. I think it's excellent. This is a very interesting process. Uh,
And
so,
it's a nice standard because a lot of times when people are acquiring gold, they're acquiring it in you know bulky quantities or just non-universal increments, and this really makes it a little more universal and a little more standard so that we can use it within our community and really start to substitute and trade in our cash. It's much more practical than anything else I've seen.
I see that. Yeah, very, very nice. Well, now we've been talking about Gary Franchi and all of our relationship to him and his work. Gary was going to be our guest tonight, folks,
Yeah.
but he lost his voice. Oh no, Gary Franchi lost his voice very temporarily. Dr. Rima and he are talking about it. At least she's talking about it. And
Well,
he
that's
and
rather
he
interesting
deputized.
because about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks ago,
Yep,
I came very close to losing my voice, and my voice is still in the process of recovering. And if
yep.
anybody wants to know what that is, it's the big S.
S.
That's called stress.
Aha. All right, got it, got it. So anyway, Gary deputized Chad, and as Chad said to us, he's known Gary for a decade or thereabouts. So I assume you have some interesting stories to tell us about Gary Franchi working in his office, working with him on his projects. I love how really professional looking his videos are. How do you get that sort of quality? What does it take? Uh, your audience are basically
Well,
activists and would love to know.
I can tell you, after knowing Gary for so long, it really is a cool story because when I first met Gary, he was working as a security guard out of his 1 bedroom apartment trying to support he and his wife, but he burned with just a passion for putting things online and waking people up. And when Gary and I first knew each other, we were both living downtown Chicago. We used to get together, God, 3 times a week, and we would print our own DVDs. It was all elbow grease, blood, sweat, and tears, and it wasn't glamorous at all. And I can tell you the stuff he put out back then didn't look nearly as slick, but he's just so tenacious. And we were at it, and I tapered off a little bit after a couple of years because I really had to go to work, and I was scared, and I was working 2 jobs, and had a kid on the way, and but Gary just kept fighting this fight, and little by little, people loved and appreciated all the work he would put in, and the people would be there to support him when he needed it, and so he went from really a ragtag activist, just being scrappy, to the point now where I don't know anybody in our community of patriots, libertarians, I don't know anyone that doesn't take his calls right away and hold him in very high esteem. And that, for he's my dear friend, and having watched this whole process, I can tell you it's extremely gratifying, and he deserves every ounce of success that he's been able to garner.
Absolutely. No, we really
Well, we
appreciate
take
him,
this
and
calls.
we take his recommendations seriously, and so that's why Dr. Rima and I, became very interested. Actually, Dr. Rima became interested first. She was presented the idea, and she got on the phone and said to me, Ralph, you've got to see this," and off we went, and it's wonderful, uh, folks. We really have no hesitation recommending the Karatbars program. It's way for people to affordably. Now that's the key here. It's affordable gold for the current times. You look at the headlines and you know this is the time to have the security of gold. This is the time to convert some of that paper into real value and value that people can recognize. We've always joked about, how would you buy a loaf of bread with a gold coin? Well, now
You'd,
there's a yeah.
you'd
Now we're a
use
lot
your
closer.
ATM card.
Use your
You'd
ATM
use
card,
your
right?
gold. You'd use your gold-based ATM card.
Right.
That's how you do it.
I like it exactly, and that's the sort of thing that's beginning to develop. The ingenuity of individuals, even in a semi-free society, is quite amazing indeed. Now
Well,
let's see.
I
Let
can
me.
tell you
Uh,
just from a very personal, anecdotal aspect of this, just with buying things like nano silver, with being involved with Karatbars, my wife and I, as scary as all these things are that are happening, and we talk about it every day. Obviously working with Gary, I see everything that comes across his desk, and it's not all pleasant news. And but just the fact that we know we've got this cachet of gold that we've been able to muster now. We're entrepreneurs, and we know how to make money, but it's really hard to keep it. And this is giving us a way to safeguard what we've worked so hard to make. And just the feeling of security now is tremendous. I wake up in the morning with very little anxiety, even being exposed to the information I'm exposed to every day. And that's an incredible feeling.
ah,
That's a really, really, really good point. You have to have some reason to be both hopeful and empowered. But I was just thinking, as you were saying that, Chad, and it was such an interesting comment. I was thinking about our suits on the ground in Liberia. We sent them nano silver 10 parts per million. We sent 20 bottles as a gift to the people of Liberia for clinical demonstration. And we sent 5 bottles more as a gift to the people who were going to be bringing this to the government of Liberia and to the health system because we didn't want them to get sick either. And so we instructed them on how to take it. Now, when the clinical trial was about to begin, that the WHO called and literally stopped cold, when the doctor, Dr. Brown, was pouring the first dose for the first serving for the first patient, the phone rang and the Liberian government said WHO won't allow us to do this, don't do it. But the only 2 people in Liberia who knew that they were not going to come down with Ebola were standing in the isolation center without being in isolation suits. They weren't in moon suits. Why? Well, first of all, a moon suit costs about $250 in Liberia, and they can't afford them. It's very, very, very hard to come by them, and they didn't want to use them up. But they knew that they wouldn't get Ebola, highly contagious, and they understand that it's airborne. They get it real well. They knew that because they knew that in their homes they had a bottle of nano silver. Now, one of these guys, so they know, they have the confidence, they have the joy of the security of not having to worry for themselves and their loved ones. How precious that is. And you have it too, because you've got so much protective information as well as so much depressive information. And as somebody like Ralph and you, I handle enormous amounts of really horrifyingly awful stuff. But we know so many answers. We know so much protective information, like nanosilver, like Karatbars. There's a real elation in that and a desire to share it with other people.
And that's part of our expressive association. It's part of our mission. And that mission is to, of course, discover, to develop, to demonstrate, to document, and to disseminate natural solutions to social problems. Some of us think that gold is a natural solution to the problem of fiat currency, but that, of course, is opinion. And we are privileged to have our opinions in a free society or a semi free society. Apparently, we may also express some of those opinions. So that's what we're doing here tonight. We are engaging in expressive association.
We may express some of those opinions if we stand on tippy toe and say, please, mother, may I? And say, well, I would never say that a nutrient treats, prevents, cures, diagnoses, or mitigates any kind of disease. Please, mother, may I? I would never say that, even if it's true, of course, I would never say that a nutrient is a treatment. Oh, please, mother, may I? In this free society.
Mm-hmm. This is absolutely true. Absolutely true. So let's go over one more time so people can understand how to do the process. If you go to www.naturalsolutionsgold.com, you'll find a little web page. You'll see Gary Franchi's handsome face on it. You'll see our logo, and it says Dr. Rima and the Natural Solutions Foundation welcome you to a new style of asset protection. Here's Gary Franchi to introduce you to your golden opportunity. And that's where it starts. And I think maybe we should hear Gary for a couple of seconds. Let's see if that will actually play. Here we go.
All right, you've made it to the next step. Now, I don't want you to be distracted. Take a minute, get comfortable, and let's focus now. Like I said, I know you have questions, and this next presentation is going to help answer them.
And that presentation is at www.naturalsolutionsgold.com. That's www.naturalsolutionsgold.com. All right. Can you tell us a little bit more, Chad, about the type of community that's developing around the part of Karatbars that Gary and you and the other associates of Gary's group have inspired?
Oh, absolutely. It's exciting. I get calls. Some days it's 10, some days it's 100. But we've got so many calls coming into the office from people who are within our organization who want to know how to share it with someone else, who want to know how to convert their gold and use the IRA, which is actually another component that Karatbars offers. There's so many different uses in people's lives, and we're finding out new things about the company all the time just because there's so much interest and enthusiasm.
Whoa. Stop. How does IRA interface with Karatbars? People are worried about their IRAs, and they should be. So how does that work? Boy, this is news for me.
And this is exciting. Tell. We
Okay,
have 8 minutes.
well, luckily, with the time constraints, I'm not actually the one who would go into depth about the IRA conversions, but they do have that mechanism in place. There is a company that Karatbars works with that can legally and cleanly and efficiently walk you through that entire process. And we've had 4 or 5 people do it so far, and that's really exciting. My role in that whole thing is to just kind of, be the liaison for that information, but I'm not actually the one doing the conversions for people. But it's just that there's so many opportunities with Karatbars to just move more in that sovereign space and to protect your family. And we really, with the amount of people, we have new people sign up all the time, all around the world, and it's just exciting to meet these people, hear their stories, and we really are building community with each other because we're all doing the same thing. We're all just trying to break free and have that feeling of security that real money can give us.
Excellent.
Well,
Real
now,
money.
let's say that I fill out the information at naturalsolutionsgold.com, and then I listen to the presentation. What happens next? How do I make my way through the many, many opportunities? Because frankly, not being a financial kind of person, not being skilled in this whole gold area, I wouldn't know which opportunity to choose. I wouldn't know how to go forward. So what would happen to me? I put my information in the Natural Solutions Gold form. I click the orange button that says I want in, and then what happens?
Well, there's a great automated process that'll walk you through and give you the ability to enter the program at whatever level you're comfortable with. But of course, there's a lot of people that would really prefer someone on the phone helping them. And, that's where Gary's office comes into play, and the guys that I work with, we're here for those people. We've got kind of our own special circumstances where you don't even have to go directly to Karatbars. You can come to us, and we can. And since we're closer in that in that chain to people, a lot of times that's a really helpful thing to have. So if people do have questions, concerns, if there's anything that's not working right online, we can handle those calls right away.
Excellent. In fact, we were really very happy about the website that you helped us put together. Very, very good.
I have to tell you that if I had wandered into Karatbars and I had not had the opportunity, because that's how I process information. I need to interchange back and forth and bounce my questions and hear more information. So if I hadn't had that, I don't know how well I would have affiliated with the opportunity. On the other hand, General Burt would rather not talk to somebody on the phone. He'd rather go through the information on the site. Very different. And
there we are. It is indeed the end of the program. Thank you, Chad. Another Dr. Rima Truth Reports.
It's a pleasure.
All right, Dr. Rima, take us on out.
You have been listening to the Dr. Rima Truth Reports. DrRimaTruthReports.com, your source for real information. And stay free, stay healthy, get silver.
And get gold. Nano silver, micro gold.